Welcome back to Wedding Mayhem. I'm on my own. Don't know where I did own, but I'm not, because I have the wonderful Holly from Blank Canvas Weddings.
Oh, nice to see you.
Thank you for coming to play.
My pleasure.
So it's just the two of us. Lauren's, as you know, she's pregnant and she's not feeling very well today. So flying solo today. What can go wrong? Mm-hmm. But I've got you.
Oh,
and you have a wedding background as well.
I do.
Yes,
I do. A lot of wedding background.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I run Blank Canvas Wedding Venues, which is an amazing portfolio of beautiful spaces that couples can rent to hire for their wedding venue. And we have a lovely selection of beautiful spaces. Some require a marquee or a teepee, some are barns.
So are these like fields or barns or?
Some are, some. So Littlefield Manor in Guildford is, the manor house is your backdrop.
Yeah.
And some bedrooms in the house that you can hire on a bed and breakfast basis. And then we have a lovely little barn that we can use for ceremonies or smaller weddings. And then we have a beautiful lawn where the marquee or teepee can go. And the whole space is licensed for civil ceremonies as well.
So, I mean, the clue is in the title, Blank Canvas. Yeah. So can you do pretty much what you want with these? Yeah. You know.
No, I only say no to my children. I don't say no to my couples. They can do all they want.
Or your husband with his budgets.
This is true.
Yes, that you can't absorb everything.
Definitely saying no to the accountant. No, it's the premise of Blank Canvas, it started with Heidi and Lynn 12 years ago.
Right.
I took over the business 2 years ago from them. And so their background was wedding planning in venues.
Okay.
And they loved what they did, but they got so frustrated with all the restrictions and being told, a couple can't do that, and if they want to do this, that's not possible, or there's an extra fee. And like me, at the time I didn't know them, but like me, similar way that with my career that in wedding planning at venues, I just got so frustrated with always having to give bad news to clients and it always being my fault that
you're never the good guy.
No, and it was really sad because I don't want to say no to anyone. I want to make it the day that everybody wants. So Heidi and Lynn got frustrated with this and decided to find some lovely spaces and then take them over and transform them for weddings as the way that the couple want.
So couples can do anything they want?
Yeah, pretty much. So each of the spaces is literally a blank canvas, and then whatever you add in just makes it even better. So Myrtle's Courtyard in Farnham is a beautiful old Victorian courtyard with a milking shed and milking barns, and it's so beautiful. Quite rustic, but so pretty.
So are these unusual weddings?
Not really, no. I mean, a lot of them are marquees or teepees.
Okay, so not hotel based.
No, exactly. Okay. So you don't. The lovely thing is you're not restricted by the look of the hotel. You know how, like a lot of hotels, the sort of the carpet and the curtains and the wallpaper, you're like the colour scheme has to be.
Just had a bride this week who's in complete meltdown, bless her, because she's gone back to the venue. The wedding's in 3 weeks, and they have changed the decor and the carpet. It clashes with all the colours that she's got and stuff like that. So, and couples don't realise that's they can have a refurbishment and not tell you. It's okay.
And you're so dictated to by the decor of the space you're in.
So why would we have a blank canvas wedding as opposed to a venue wedding?
Because you can create whatever you want. There are very few things that we can't do. So when we build them up, so all the marquees and teepees are built just for each couple. So they're all totally fresh. Okay. They're not going up at the beginning of the season and coming down later. That if your wedding was on Saturday, your marquee or teepee built on like the Wednesday or Thursday, and it's all exactly to your design.
So does that mean that we can get in?
Yeah. Before? Yeah, so you have the space for 48 hours. So from 12 o'clock the day before the wedding, the couple can go in and set everything up, and as their wedding planner, I'm there as well to assist and help them go through any last minute things, check all the supplies have delivered as they should, and go over the running of the day with any changes or anything. And then when they leave that night, they can literally just close up marquee and it's all ready, it's all set up.
That is brilliant. Because some of these hotels you can't go in until 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, and your wedding's at 3 o'clock, and
you're paying huge fees for your florist to be there really early in the morning, or delivery fees are different because the delivery company has to deliver furniture.
And I think couples don't realise that as well as the cost of the suppliers and the goods, there are the delivery costs as well, which can rack up. Between them. So and we're not adding these to our budgets because we're not aware of them.
No, that's so true.
So why would we choose a blank canvas wedding?
I think when I first started doing weddings, I mean, I've been in wedding planning since 2007. It's a long old time. And when I first started doing weddings, it was lovely. Obviously, they're all beautiful, but it was a bit sad that everything was very standard, the formality was always there. Even for couples that didn't want the formality, it sort of was always there. But now, the lovely thing is anything goes. And it's lovely. I had a couple just last week say we want a festival wedding. We want food trucks around the edges of the teepee, around the garden. We want to have an outside ceremony. We want some music outside. Like they've had doing a harpist playing as they get married outside, because a lot of the venues are licensed for civil ceremony. And they wanted it to be like a festival wedding. And then a day later, I had someone say, we want something really formal, 3 courses. And it's lovely that you can do whatever you want. Yeah, totally. We had a couple last year who got in touch and said, we want to get married. And I was like, great, we're in the right place. And they wanted to get married in 8 weeks. And they had 7 guests. And a lot of venues would have either turned them away or charged them a huge fee. Yeah. And I called
because they're not getting the bar tariff and stuff like that.
Exactly.
You know.
And because we don't charge corkage, it's just you take the space and you can create it as you want.
Why don't you charge corkage?
Because it's mean.
Because it's mean.
Well, because it's a hidden cost. And it's unfair.
It is a hidden cost.
It's not fair to say to people, and you have to do that.
Can you explain what corkage is? Because a lot of people planning a wedding will be like, what the hell's that?
Yeah, so corkage basically is when you are charged a fee to bring your alcohol to a venue.
Right.
And it can be really expensive. Some venues charge the price of a house bottle of wine or a house bottle of champagne as their corkage. So you could be paying £40 a bottle.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it can get very expensive.
Why are they doing that? Is it to dissuade us from doing our own?
It's because they're not making the money on the drinks in the same way.
Okay.
So with our venues, you can hire a bar company to come in, serve the drinks, if you prefer to do that. We've got some fantastic bar companies that we work with. So that's obviously always an option. Or the couples can buy all the alcohol, literally get it in Tesco, keep the club card points, go to Majestic. They're brilliant at helping you supply the wine with the food, and all of our caterers will
and they'll supply the glasses as well.
They will,
and they do wine tasting as well.
They do. Majestic are really helpful. They're
really
fantastic.
Good.
And pairing the wine to the food, they'll do with you, with your chef as well. And then you can just deliver it to the venue. We can have a chiller trailer there, stick it all in there so it's nice and cold. And then we can have staff to run the bar. And the bar can be brought in by the marquee company. Right. So you've got a physical bar and then you've got staff serving the drinks that you've provided.
Are they all marquee weddings?
A lot of them are, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My thought is if it's cold.
You have heating. Yeah.
If it's raining.
No, it doesn't rain at our venues. It doesn't happen, ever.
We always say to our brides that it won't rain on your wedding day. We're really quite lucky with our weddings. So if it is going to rain, it will rain first thing in the morning or last thing at night. But in that cold hour
it does
you need
happen.
it.
You know, we live in a world. There's many weathers.
But these teepees are specially designed, aren't they?
They're completely waterproof.
For that. So you can have a teepee wedding every day of the year?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we don't tend to do them through the winter in marquees just because the ground's a bit soft.
Right.
So it tends to be more from sort of April, May through to October.
Okay.
But the barns, obviously, we can use throughout the year.
And what are the barns like?
Really beautiful. They're all very old, really lovely.
Do
beautiful spaces.
But they will smell.
No. You need to come see. Of course they don't smell. They smell of Chanel. Smell fabulous. No, they're all beautiful. And they're not sort of like...
They're not old
There's
and
not
rustic.
like cows that end and a bride this end.
That's my vision. No. Like, we're going to have a...
No, it's like beautiful beams, lovely high ceilings, beautiful spaces. Really, really lovely.
So the land that you're using, are they part of venues or...
Some of the private homes.
Private homes, okay. Yeah. So these are not already available anywhere else?
No, most of them are private homes.
And when you're looking for a new venue, what are your stipulations?
It has to have a beautiful entrance.
Okay.
It has to have good
parking.
What
is a beautiful entrance?
Well, you need the drama. It needs to have a nice drive up. It needs to have the wow factor as you arrive. Okay. You don't want to be sort of going through and...
Because I think that's really, really important, because the build-up of the wedding is the guests arriving and they're like, like, oh my God,
and you want the theatre of that.
Yes.
It's very much like putting on a theatrical production, isn't it? You want that wow as everyone walks in.
Yeah.
So the entrance is really important. It has to also then have all the practicalities, because I'm all about the logistics and making sure that everything runs really, really smoothly.
Talk us through the practical side.
So really good parking.
Okay.
Power and water on site.
When we're saying parking, are you stipulating how many cars or?
Yeah, we'd need enough to suit the space.
Okay.
So if you were going to have a wedding for 200 people, you'd need space for 200 cars.
Right. Okay.
Or thereabouts.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So we just really, the venues that we pick, we make sure that they function well as a venue. And then throughout the plans, the lovely thing is that the couples have complete freedom to do what they want to do, but they're fully supported. So with my wedding planning background, we then, myself and my team, will then help with all of the planning arrangements as well.
That's fantastic.
So they're really well supported. So I had a bride go, there's so many options. And it's like, well, there's a lot of options for any bride. But the lovely thing is with full wedding planning support, you're guided through everything. All of our suppliers are so helpful. You know,
you
really well looked after.
Chris from Cutting Edge, he was here, and you know, I would trust that man with my life.
Yeah.
You know, the food is
brilliant.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You know,
and like me, he's the sort of person that if something needs doing at a wedding, he just does it.
Yeah,
I'm very fastidious about who I work with, because I would never want to sort of be on a wedding day and a member of staff go, oh, I don't do that. No, you do that.
I think couples will be really surprised out there that when I say you can get suppliers that hate each other and won't work together and properly do, you know, come to blows on your wedding day in front of your guests and stuff like that. So that's really important, isn't it?
Yeah, and so I do all of the wedding planning. I create a day plan minute by minute of all the timings of the day, and I write that with the couple so they're happy with it. I don't just go, that's your wedding.
I think for me with your company, what sort of jumped out at me right at the beginning is that this is not a field. This is not the barn and you can just go off and do what you want. They have you and you know your knowledge as well. So they're getting a wedding planner.
Yeah, no, totally. Really well supported. And then on the day itself, I run everything. So I'm the first person on site. Right. And if it's not me, it's one of my lovely staff members. And we oversee all of the plans throughout the day, and then we're the last to leave. So the whole day is coordinated. So you don't need to be saying to mum or the bride, oh, can you pass around the guest book? Oh, can you remember that the cake needs to be cut? No. Everyone is just there to enjoy and fully relax. Because
I think when you sort of say, you know, rustic weddings or, you know, alternative weddings, people are thinking DIY. Yeah. You know, I remember from one of my weddings, you know, I was actually at Sainsbury's that morning buying water because it was a hot day.
Was this when you were a bride at?
Yeah. Third
on
wedding.
Your wedding day.
Middle wedding. I went to Sainsbury's and the lady until went, what are you doing for the rest of the day? And I went, I'm getting married.
Oh my
and she
God.
looked at me. She was like, what are you doing here? And I went, we need water, because it was we did it ourselves. Okay, we had the marquee, we had the caterers, but that was it. You know, we were blowing up the balloons.
Oh my God.
To come back from the church. But don't do it in a marquee. Those balloons deflated. Yeah. we had to, as all I've lived, go, oh, look at our balloon confetti on the floor. You know, they were all up there and then they were down there because it was such a hot day. But I was buying, you know, provisions on the morning of my wedding while everybody's at the house getting ready.
Oh no.
And but they were really sweet, because the moment I said, I'm getting married, they're like, what you doing? I'm like, they went, right, Susan, over here. You know, they were all banging it up, and they helped me in the car with it, and they were so sweet. So so as a couple, we would not have to do
absolutely not. I would not be sending you to Sainsbury's.
Waitrose.
No, but if there was anything that needed, we'd go and get that.
Yeah.
But we would plan in advance that you'd need water or whatever it is.
Yeah, you're doing it anyway. So though it's not DIY, they can still have the input on all the things that they
still
want.
Really well supported, which is really important.
They can model it around themselves. Yeah. What are the things that you are seeing in the industry that you're in regarding how couples are choosing their venues? What are they wanting more of?
Much more relaxed.
Yeah.
Much more informal. A lot of couples now are wanting to go more like platters of food on the tables, barbecue
sharing
style.
Platters,
yeah, exactly. It's the same sort of thing as Chris from Cutting Edge stuff. Yeah. Which is lovely. And I'm all about, I always feel like that's a really lovely meal. It mixes people really well.
Well, you're not standing on ceremony, are you? And there's no awkwardness that you've got to go and talk to that person, and this family member that you only see at funerals and that
I think it gives the day a better flow as well. I think that when you're sort of waiting for a plate of food, and then you're sort of waiting for that table over there to be given their plate of food, it doesn't have such a lovely feel.
I think as a couple,
platters going down and everyone going, wow, look, this is amazing, beautiful spread of beautiful things.
You can always tell a good wedding by the noise level. And people, when foods are coming in at the same time, that everybody's, wow,
it's lovely. I think I'm so privileged and honoured to be a part of everyone's days. It's amazing. It's such joy. But it's lovely as well when I can add in ideas and tips for people too. And we had a lovely situation where back in 2023, it was a really, really, really hot June day, and the brides wanted the champagne to be on the tables poured ready for everyone to then sit down and go straight into speeches. But I like a bit of champagne, and I was like, this is going to be flat and warm, and it was just such a hot day. So I said,
why did she want that?
Because she wanted to do speeches and then straight into the meal.
Okay.
Because obviously speeches get moved around depending on when people want them. It's quite nice to do them before the meal, particularly if you've got someone speaking that's a bit anxious and they want to get it done.
Get it over and done with.
Yeah. And I think it's nice to. You can do it in between courses. I always feel it's sort of almost better to do them in one go, because then people play off each other a bit more.
Yeah.
If you do them between courses, you won't sort of get the camaraderie between the people speaking.
I just think with speeches, if they're doing it after sort of their starter and main, and it gets a pudding, not everybody wants their pudding. Yeah. And then they go off, and you lose people. You
can do, but I think because I'm there to coordinate everything, everyone stays where they've got to. If you've got someone there to say, oh, you'll come back into the marquee or back into the barn because we're going to now have our speeches, then they go sort of where they're instructed to.
So doing it at the beginning, I quite like that.
Yeah, it is lovely. So
it breaks the tension a little bit.
It does. So they had, as everyone was about to come into the marquee, I said to the caterer, like, let's put the cold bottle of champagne on each table with glasses ready. And we called everyone to the meal. They all sat down. And then the bride and groom came into a big cheer. It was lovely. Yeah. And I said to the master of ceremonies, it was lovely. The master of ceremonies said, would someone on each table take the bottle, pop the cork on the count of 3, and then pour for everyone on the table?
So the corks went off at the same time?
It was amazing. It was, I don't know how, it was just so perfectly
there's going to be one that's going to go,
there's often one that goes
the
a bit
weakling,
early. But we all went 3, 2, 1. And like you say about the noise, it was just fantastic. And then it was just like pop, 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 corks flying everywhere. It was fantastic. And then it worked really well because the champagne was being cold.
Yeah.
It was served really quickly because you know how long it takes for waitresses to do like
and there is a lull between getting married and then if they're having the little sort of drinks reception and then there is a bit of a lull for them coming in, sitting down and waiting for the food, and then the bride and groom to come back from their photographs and everything. So that's...
And I think that's also where, because we time everything around the day plan and around what the couple want, we make sure that there's that lovely steady flow. So if the photographer says, because I speak to all the suppliers in advance, so if the photographer says to me, I need 40 minutes for photographs or I need 20 minutes, I work that into the schedule so that the guests aren't sort of waiting for the bride and groom.
Yeah.
That would be happening during reception drinks or during when some music's being played during reception drinks. There's entertainment and things going on.
So for our brides that are getting married, is there a room for them?
Some of the venues, some do. If not, the marquee can always have additional marquees onto it.
Because you can add. Because I think, some of my brides will go, I don't know where I can go and sit and take time out.
Yeah, most of the venues
makeup.
have a space. Coverwood Farm in Sheer doesn't, but oh my goodness, it's just beautiful. Coverwood Lakes is stunning. So Sheer is obviously where Bridget Jones is filmed on Holiday. It's absolutely beautiful.
Don't like the Holiday.
Oh, do you not?
No.
Oh, what?
No, it's a very unpopular opinion. I just the acting for me is just so forced.
Yeah.
And it's just no. I'm not a Cameron Diaz fan.
No, there were quite a lot of sort of low moments in that film.
All of it.
Where the music sort of kicks in and they're not really speaking.
No, all of it. I hate it.
Okay, well, don't worry about that. It's down the road from there.
But I am a Bridget fan, so that's fine.
So Coverwood Lakes is absolutely beautiful. And the lakes are just gorgeous. There's dragonflies and it's absolutely beautiful. And the marquees or teepees can face the lake.
Oh, brilliant.
So there isn't accommodation there, but we could build a room on the side of the marquee for the bride to have her second dress in, or a little makeup stand.
So with your venues, like you're talking about the one in Sheer, can you change where you would normally have the marquee? If they say, I want it over there.
Yeah, within reason, as long as it's
accessible.
Actually accessible and it would work with the
health and
company.
Safety. What can't we do?
Fireworks usually. Some venues we can, but some we can't because there's a lot of livestock. So usually fireworks we can't do, and sometimes drones because of animals.
Oh, okay.
So some of the venues we can do a drone over.
No, I wouldn't have thought that.
Yes,
and animals, horses. Yes, but not drones.
Yeah, drones can upset horses. Some of the venues, so Littlefield Manor has horses, but we can do it when they're in bed, so after 5 o'clock. Or we just do it over the house.
Do the horses go to bed?
Yeah, they go to their stables.
They're all tucked in.
Yeah. Some live out in the fields and some, but most are in their stables. So once they're not near to where the wedding is, we can do that. And fireworks normally as well because of animals.
Yeah.
Because they're all sort of like country locations.
Okay.
But we do allow pets in most venues.
Do you? We had
love having dogs. You had your dog lady.
Dog chaperone. Oh, I learned so much.
Yeah.
So much. And when brides are now coming in, I'm like, we're talking about it because they're having mates do it, and that's all very well and good, but they've not had their dog looked after by these people before. They've met them a couple of times.
Also, you can't rely on your friends and family to do stuff at your wedding. I just feel it's a massive mistake.
Because they won't have a good time and they'll start drinking.
Yeah, by 10 o'clock, they're not going to be helpful.
That's one of my worries. My middle wedding was at Painshill Park.
Oh, lovely.
And we were going to have it on the top where they do maths.
Yes.
So there's the reunion up there. And but they got the lake. And I worry about people falling into the lake. Do they fall in the lake?
Am I worried about it?
No. Yeah, I worry about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of the venues do have water. I always think, because I'm there to oversee everything and I'm the responsible adult with my team of people and all the staff and everything, we know where the water is.
Okay.
So obviously if there's children, I always insist that we have a nanny or an au pair or someone to look after the kids and be responsible for the children. Because obviously, with kids and water, it's incredibly dangerous. But with drunk people, it's more sort of being very aware of everyone and keeping them where you want them to be. But in a nice way, not to sort of rush. And then we have security from sort of 10 o'clock.
Do you?
More of a babysitting service, really. It sort of helps guests to remember where their car is.
The nanny lady that we had on said that, they'd wander off and forget about their children. Because they were looking after the children. Enough they'd be going and be like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Got your child,
Oh, gosh, that's not good. Yeah.
So your background isn't just wedding venues. You actually come from a bridal background.
Yes, I do. That's right. So I've worked initially with Caroline Castigliano and ran her Guildford store for 6 years.
God.
Yeah, long time. Yeah.
Gosh.
So Bridal was where I started
and
all those years ago.
Does that help you on the day with the bride? Understand?
Yeah, no, it does. It helps, I think, any...
Because it's not just a dress. You have to transport this dress.
Yes. And also I always feel, because of how I was taught by Caroline Castigliano, the whole image of the day comes from the dress.
Yeah.
So once, obviously you know this, but once you've chosen your venue, you're choosing your dress and thinking about the image that you want to create with that. And if that's glamorous and sophisticated, that's a very different style of wedding, which we can still do in a very rustic barn. You just transform it the way you want it to be. And I think that's what's really lovely about all our weddings, is that they're all so different. And we can do something really structured. We had a wedding last year where the bride wanted blue hydrangeas, and that was just blue hydrangeas. And it was stunning. It was so beautiful, so perfect. She was an interior designer, so it was beautifully orchestrated. And then the week after, we had a festival-style wedding. So completely different end of the spectrum. But they both look really lovely and work perfectly in the space.
So it sounds like they can be adaptable.
No, totally. No week is ever the same, which
what
is great for us.
about like your furniture and stuff like that? Do you supply that? Or
we hire it all in.
Okay.
So that everyone has a choice.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. Chairs. Talk to me about chairs.
So we hire those in too. But
Why
they
are
can
they so expensive?
That's not my fault.
For anybody that hasn't listened, the chair hire, it's expensive, isn't it?
They're expensive to buy though.
Are they? How much are they to hire?
For hiring, they're about £5 a chair.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that hasn't really changed
plus VAT, plus delivery.
Okay.
But of course, if you're getting them from your marquee company, which most of our marquee companies would also provide, you're not paying an extra delivery because your marquee's already arriving, and they'll do you a good price because you're doing your marquee through them.
Oh, okay. So that's the top tip then.
Yeah. It's always better to try and get everything from one supplier.
Can we talk about costings?
Of course.
Buck up.
What have I done? I spent too much. I'm in trouble.
I mean, where are we on budgets, Well,
that is actually the really lovely thing. So, for instance, the couple with 7 guests.
Yeah.
We just reduced the venue hire hugely because they were only with us for a few hours. They wanted a lovely barbecue. It was not a full day's hire. So we arranged the hire for them just for their wedding to be fitting to their budget and what they wanted to be. And I think that's what's really lovely is that we can do anything. Some of our couples come to us and they have lots of money to spend and some don't have as much, but whatever your budget, it can still be fabulous, it can still be beautiful, and we don't change our level of service. Because
I think if people are looking to cut costs or trying to rein it in a little bit, if you're picking a beautiful location to get married, you don't need all the aesthetics.
Yeah.
So you can cut down on decor, surely.
Yes, definitely. And I think also all of our venues they're in such beautiful settings that you don't need to go crazy with additional things because the gardens are stunning. There's lots of lovely flowers and colour coming in from there anyway. I mean, Myrtle's Courtyard, we had a wedding where they did fairy lights, literally their Christmas lights, round around the beams of the barn, which was just so beautiful.
Romantic
and then it was so pretty. Oh, it was gorgeous. Absolutely
and I
stunning.
find like with like fairy, I'm a massive fairy light fan, but I think with fairy lights and when it goes into the evening, people relax.
Yeah, it does look so beautiful.
Sitting there with their drinks,
and it changes. I always love to move the room around and change the room slightly or change the marquee slightly for the evening.
How can you do that?
You just minimise the furniture, change the lighting.
Okay.
You'd move certain things into certain places, mostly lighting in the marquee. Because the marquee have lighting in the ceiling and it's all on dimmers.
Is it? Yeah. Are there restrictions on noise?
No. We do like a sound test at some venues.
So these venues that we've got will have a limitation on the noise level.
Yeah.
And they can't have their favourite bands or they can't have their sax because it goes over. Yeah. So there's none of that at all.
No, we don't like that.
Book her. Because it's becoming a thing and I didn't know it was a thing, these noise limitators. And they cut out.
It's really quiet.
We had DJ Lee Russell on, and he went, you can be at a venue, and they've got a central switch.
Yeah, it turns out.
And it turns the lights out and the music, and they can't have it on them for 10 minutes. They're sim-binned for 10 minutes until the noise.
Can you imagine the atmosphere as well if you're wedding day just going zoom?
Well, also as well when you're on the dance floor and you're chatting, and the noise goes out, and you've said something really
Said something about someone's hat.
Yeah, need to change my knickers. But
I prefer to first wife.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, so no restrictions on noises.
No,
that's absolutely a game changer.
It is. Well, we want everything to be as easy for our couples as possible, so they can really have what they want. But with loads of support and lots of guidance. I mean, I'll call my brides from Hobbycraft and go, I found that ribbon you wanted. It's in the right
No
colour.
way. No way.
I'm in constant contact with everyone.
So talk us through each of your venues.
So Littlefield Manor in Guildford is licensed for civil ceremonies.
That's how many people?
We can do up to about 200 guests.
Okay, that's cool.
And smaller numbers, obviously, as well. We can do, in the barn there, they have a small barn, so we can do sit down for up to 40 people.
And how much would that venue cost us?
At the moment, it is £3,500 as a venue. I know, it's very reasonable.
I know.
And you also get me.
And is that for 200 people?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. No, we want to keep it reasonable. Yeah. Because, of course, you then have your marquee.
Of course.
Or whatever you want to do in addition. But we don't feel it's fair to be charging huge amounts.
Yeah, and there will be people out there going, well, the landlord is there, why are you charging? But you've got to maintain it.
Yeah, the maintenance of these spaces.
You've got to keep it looking pretty.
Yeah.
And you've got to clear up.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of clearing up after.
And there's a lot of, all that includes all the event staff as well. Which
does it?
Yeah, that includes my fee and for event managers on the day and security.
What are you cheap?
I know.
Word that your husband would not have heard.
I know. I've never been called cheap before. This is a new one. Very exciting.
And your next venue?
Myrtle's Courtyard in Farnham is very lovely. So that's a courtyard with a barn.
Yeah.
It's not licensed, but we have a beautiful meadow opposite the courtyard where you can have blessings. So we can bring in a celebrant like night ceremonies. They're fantastic. And they can write a ceremony for the couple and then run the ceremony. But it isn't legal. So you get married earlier that day or a previous day.
You can't bring a registrar in? No.
Because the land has to be licensed.
Okay.
Then we have Ripley Court School in Ripley, which is also licensed. And that has a beautiful lawn for the ceremony to be conducted on. And then a beautiful open space field for the marquee or teepee. So it's really pretty.
Is it private?
Oh, yeah. There's nothing else going on that day. Yeah.
Right.
So you have access from 12 o'clock the day before until 12 o'clock the day after.
Yeah.
And then obviously the full wedding day, but nothing else will happen on that day. It's only
it's exclusively yours. Mm-hmm. And again, it goes in favour against a venue because there can be two weddings going on, or a corporate.
Yeah, or with golf clubs, the members are allowed in.
Yeah.
I was at a wedding once as a guest, and I was like, "Who's this guy in plaid?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm a member." I'm like, "You're not a member of the wedding."
No.
It's terrible.
No, they have full access of everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Which just looks awful.
Yeah,
and Pennyhill Park's the same.
Yeah.
They're lovely venues, but it's a real shame.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if the England rugby team came in.
That's all right.
That would be absolutely fine. Yeah, they can have
be
a drink.
Great laugh.
They can stay.
Yes.
Yeah, they can.
But you don't want some randoms coming into your wedding.
No, and you get that with a lot of venues. I've been to a wedding, and we actually went to the wrong wedding.
Oh my God.
3
Was
weddings.
there a signpost saying where to go?
Well, there was, but we didn't see it. So we just went where we could hear the music because we were evening guests. And it's quite a funny story. So we went there and we were there for about an hour. And then Ross said to me, he went, do you recognise anybody here? And I went, well, why would I? Because I know the bride. She was one of my brides.
Oh, okay.
And then I saw the bride and I'm like, it's not my bride. Like, shit. And then we went then to the other wedding that was also at this place, and spent another hour or so there. Had a good old dance and everything. Didn't recognise her either.
So we went to 3?
So we went to 3.
Oh my God.
We went to all
hysterical.
3. Yeah. It was great. Free drinks.
I bet you made loads of friends though.
We made loads of friends and customers, but there were 3 weddings going on.
It's like a conveyor belt.
Yeah, but on the same night.
Oh, that's
so
crazy.
you're in your wedding. Can you imagine if you're doing speeches?
Yeah.
And you've got the conga going off in the other.
When we have our speeches, I am like, everybody out the kitchen. I make it as quiet as possible. There's nothing worse than having speeches and have that
the rattling
noise
of
cutlery cleaning or people chatting in the background.
Yeah.
We always make sure I'm very I sort of look over every aspect of the day and
the
make
eyes
sure all
and
the
the
logistics
ears.
Exactly, and all the logistics. I'll quite often be rocking a baby so mum can enjoy the meal.
We do that in the shop, because we want them to have their time, their moment,
exactly,
without life interrupting. Talk us through from when you meet a couple getting married to the actual day.
Okay, so when we meet, I show them the space. We allow about an hour for appointments, and we talk about their ideas for the day and how they want to use the space, because there are certain bits of each venue where it's nice for reception drinks, but if that couple think, actually, I want to have my reception drinks over there, obviously that's fine. But I sort of talk to them about what works well and then let them choose. And then we're happy to put dates on hold, obviously, while they get their ducks in a row. And then,
what do you mean their ducks in a row?
So if you're choosing, it's good to hold a wedding date whilst you check everyone's availability, whilst you check for if the registrar's got space, or is the church available, or is the caterer you want or the photographer you want available that day. So they might have 1 or 2 dates on hold. It's
normally the registrar that's the issue,
and
what time slots they've got.
Yeah.
Because there's only going to be a couple of them out on the day, and if that 1:30 goes, and then you've got the 3.
Yeah.
And you have to change it around. Yeah, everybody wants the 12-1 with a 1:30 slot, don't they? Because it just fits nicely.
Yeah, it's a better time to get married.
What do you do in the case that it is an earlier registrar coming in or a later registrar? Going timings and stuff
in terms of filling the day. So we do it. We had last year, we had quite a few weddings that were about 12 o'clock for a ceremony.
It's a long day. It's 12 hours.
It is. You do need to feed people.
If your carriage is at 12, that's a long day.
It's always a good idea to have a water station.
Okay.
On arrival, and then we can keep it refreshed the entire day, because that is a long time for people to be drinking.
Yeah.
Even for me, that's a long time to drink all day long. I think you and I would be fine.
Yeah, I'm definitely coming out with you.
I am a lot of fun. So I'd have a water station available all day, and I would think about having some snacks or something available all day as well.
And this is things that couples wouldn't think about when they're planning their wedding, because they're all drinkers all for the time.
They're going to be fine. But actually, when you think about it, those guests have left home at, say, 9-10 o'clock in the morning. They might not be fed till 3-4 o'clock,
and they might not have even had breakfast at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, totally. So we just would fill the day with some more activities. Maybe bring in miniature golf, some garden games. That sort of stuff's really fun. Yeah. We've had face painting. With glitter paint. They're the festival glitter paint. That's always really cool.
That's really cool. So what kind of games would we have?
Bulls.
I'm thinking badminton for some reason.
Yeah, badminton would be fun.
Wouldn't it be fun?
Yeah, badminton would be
in my high heels.
Yeah.
Split my skirt.
Get world going on. Yeah, we often do. We have had companies bring in miniature golf with the proper setup, which is really fun. We quite often do Jenga. Jenga's all right, but it's a bit of a pain to keep rebuilding. And you have to have a flat surface.
Okay.
So it's not the best. You have to have a board down or something.
But you would do the big blocks.
Yeah. The big, the garden Jenga. Bulls is always really good.
Yes.
Quoits is always fun. And there's a wonderful quoits is the one
is that the ring?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the toss one with the box.
The what?
There's a box, and you have a little hole in it, and you have to throw the bean bags into it.
That's sports day.
And it's a bit like sports day.
We could have sports day. Lauren's laughing at me there. We could have sports day, Lauren.
You could do egg and spoon race.
Yeah, sack race.
I mean, we could just turn it into a children's party.
Yeah. Jelly and ice cream.
We've had white bouncy castles.
White bouncy castles. Yeah. That's quite a hard word to say.
Really cool.
Yeah.
So there's lots of games you can do that are really fun.
For the bouncy castle, I worry about these bouncy castles because you get broken limbs.
Well, do you?
You've met me. Or the horse, the Bronco Billy.
Bucky Bronco.
That's the one.
I think we're going more into a rodeo and less into a wedding. But
I'm thinking fourth wedding here. I'm thinking like cowgirls and.
You could have a Bucky Bronco. I don't know if it's on theme.
Wanted one for the middle wedding. I wasn't allowed. Wasn't in the budget.
Fun. That would have been fun. Yeah, having games that sort of get everyone laughing. And being together is fun. We had Beat the Buzzer.
What's that?
There's the one where you have a metal stick and you go round and you try and make
yeah.
Bride's dad and the chief bridesmaid were like having this competition.
People get so competitive.
Oh my god, it was so fun. The pictures were hysterical. Yeah. All the guests around there, they're like, it was so fun.
You do whack-a-mole.
Yeah, whack-a-mole would be fun.
That would be real fun.
Yeah, and that would great company. There's a company called Whimsical Workshop, and they have beautiful, like sort of old-fashioned. They're all new, but they're all kind of old-fashioned garden game setups. They look
so
really
you could do like a fairground wedding, couldn't you?
Totally. And it's lovely for kids too. If you've got children at the wedding, it's always fun. But it is the adults that end up playing these games. Yeah, especially
after 9 o'clock.
Yeah. No, it's good fun.
I like that because it means that you can actually really pull your personality out in your wedding,
definitely.
Which you can't do at venues. It's quite corporate. And I remember my husband and I at our venue, and we had a lovely venue in Sunningdale, and we were doing table names and stuff like that. But he wanted numbers, and I'm like, not a corporate. It's not a corporate. And it's like, and that's the only row that we had, number-wise and stuff like that. And
I saw a lovely thing for that actually recently, where you do table numbers, but you have, say, 1 up to 10, or however many numbers you want.
Yeah.
And you put an anniversary card on each table, and you get each table to sign it with a message, and you open table 10's message on your 10th anniversary.
Are you hoping that they're going to be married for 10 years? I'm 2 months away from my 10th.
You're too cynical.
Keep your fingers crossed for me. I'm nearly there, guys.
It's such a sweet idea.
I love that.
It's really sweet.
And they seal
those away and then open them.
Yeah, and that's it, because after the wedding, we had like a jigsaw puzzle that everybody signed. That's faded. I think I've got a couple of names and that and stuff like that. But this is a memory that keeps giving, really doesn't it?
Really lovely. And it would be so lovely as well to read the messages from that day. Yeah. 5 years later, 2 years later.
Yeah. What sort of things are you seeing now that you're like, oh my God, I've not seen that before?
I don't know. What have I not seen yet? The more personalised stuff is really lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stuff girls make themselves. Just I think doing things that's much more their own look.
Yeah.
And much more to the couple.
And actually at your venues, they're bringing it in the day before as well, not on the day.
No.
And I remember I did the little favour boxes. I made fudge and stuff like that. But the faff of getting it there in the morning and making sure that the venue put it in the
And it's amazing as well how much time that takes.
It does.
You need to be getting your hair and makeup done.
Yeah.
How long, not that you need long for your hair and makeup.
I do. Polyfiller, lots.
But when you want to relax and enjoy Glam Squad coming in, even going to the venue and come back, that can be like 2 hours out of your morning. Yeah. And you don't really have time.
I think we got married at 2 o'clock and the hair and makeup lady was like, I need you at 5.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm going for a run. They went, you're not running on your wedding.
You're running. What was chasing you?
Yes, runaway bride. But 5 o'clock for it's a long time. But actually, I think we compromised. I think it's for 7, and we still run over late. And Gemma was one of the girls. Luckily, which was our Layla. She's beautiful. Completely got forgotten about with hair and makeup.
Oh no!
Because she's one of those girls that looks like she's got makeup on.
Oh bless her!
And we looked at her and went, "Oh my God, Layla's not been done." Lady went, "Oh, I don't need it," and we quickly just bronzed her and shoved her out, and it was fine, But we, for 7 o'clock, we still ran late.
Yeah, It is a very early start. And that's the problem with a very early ceremony as well, because you are working backwards. You are up really early. And it's nice to what I love as well is when the day before the wedding, everything's set up, the couple can go off, maybe have dinner with their own families or do something really special. And then the next day they have the wedding day. And then on the Sunday, they can do whatever they want. They can go to, we had a couple last year who went to a pub for the day, and they said to all of their guests, we'll be at that pub all day long.
Yeah,
and
we did that.
Came, did you? Everyone came and had a drink with them.
Yeah, they all came to the Belvedere, and we're like, right, we've got a table booked.
Yeah.
And they all went off and had their own meal and drinks and then came back, and it was lovely.
Because all you want to do after your wedding is talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's so nice to do that the next day and see everyone. And,
it was brilliant. And we talked about games. We've got a game to play, so we'll bring that on. So we were talking about your venues as well. Which is your favourite venue?
Oh, that's an impossible question. I love Coverwood Lakes because it's just so beautiful and so idyllic, and it's just full of beautiful birds. And I was there the other day, and a swan just came in and landed on the lake. Literally swaned. I love Littlefield Manor because it's just so charming and beautiful, and it's just a lovely backdrop. Myrtle's Courtyard is obviously very pretty and special, and I love the way that you can transform that space literally into anything, as you can with all of them really. Ripley Court is also really lovely because there are no limitations. It's just such a lovely, beautiful space.
Right.
And it's lovely that whatever you put in there transforms it again, but it's got a sort of American feel. It's quite New England. It's got a little white bridge over, it's not actually got water in it, but over a sort of from one lawn to the next.
It's cute.
So it's really, it's really quaint.
Do you get couples sort of contact you and not have a venue in mind?
Yes.
And you get to know them and what they want, and then you can
quite often we'll have a chat on the phone, and I'll discuss they'll tell me what they want, number of guests, what sort of style of day they want, and then I'll direct them from there to which venue would be suitable.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. That's brilliant. Well, give that a spin. I've got loads of questions.
Which way round? This way?
Any way you want.
Date story. Ooh.
Give us one.
What, from my life?
For you, yeah.
What, a true story?
Yeah, we can make it up if you want.
What would be my date story? I can tell you about my first date.
Go on then.
With my husband.
Okay.
So we'd known each other from school, and then we got chatting on text over the summer. We were at university at the time, and I was working on a yacht.
I'm having summer nights vibes.
Oh, that's very sweet. Yeah, I was working on a yacht in France.
Yeah.
As a staff, so it was like below deck. It was a lot of fun. And I saw loads of whales around the boat, and I messaged, I don't know why I thought of him, but I messaged him and I was like, oh my God, I'm just in France, there's loads of whales, it's really cool. And then we were texting and I said, right, I'm back on Tuesday, should we go, where are you going to take me for a drink? And he went, oh, I don't know, where are we going to go? So we went, anyway, we went to Covent Garden, to the Rock Garden, which is now the Apple Store. And first of all, we went for drinks, and I walked across. Do you remember the Rock Garden? It was so good.
It was so good.
The food was fantastic.
It was.
And my best friend's dad supplies he was their greengrocer for like
no way.
Years and years. Yeah, it was really good.
God, some good nights
I was walking across the cobbles, and I got my heel of my shoe stuck in the cobbles, and he walked off and left me with my foot. I should have known. I don't know why I stayed. And then we went to have dinner, and it was very lovely.
What did you do?
But I got a bit drunk and I slid under the table.
Did you?
Halfway through dinner, I started to
Found me twin! Found me twin! I once got my heel caught when I first met my mother-in-law.
No.
And we were at Pete's Express, and it was a bit nerve-wracking, isn't it? And I had these boots on, so I'd come straight from work and, try and make a good impression. And I was all very like this. And she's a little bit posh, is Annie. At the start, when you don't get to, when you get to know her, differently. And we were walking ahead, and I was trying to balance. John's ex-wife was there with her partner as well. We were going to, I think we were celebrating Cal's birthday. So the
pressure is on.
The pressure was really on to be, a proper person, which, we all know I'm not. And,
good luck.
It was a category. And my boot got stuck, and I'm like, and John's, I'm like, boot stuck. And he looked at me and went, what? I went, my boot's stuck. And he literally had to pull me up out of the boot.
Oh my God.
My mother-in-law wet herself so much, but it broke that. She still brings it up 10 years later, 13 years later. But that was the first time I met her, But the husband's, he walked off.
No, I should have known.
Yeah, it was like, you sort it out. He wanted an independent woman. That's what he wanted,
I had to get a tourist to help me.
A tourist?
At least there was one of those available. Oh my God. They probably took a picture.
Gossip.
Oh,
perfect for a wedding planner and somebody who's been in the bridal industry.
Gossip. I'm like a vault.
You can leave the vault.
I can't give gossip.
You can give gossip. Something you've seen or heard.
Oh, can I give gossip?
I
can't upset anyone. I can't say anything I shouldn't say. What gossip could I give you?
Somebody else's gossip.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I can share. Because I don't want to upset anyone. Oh, I did have a wedding recently where... No, I can't say. That's not good. No, you tell me gossip.
Oh, tell you gossip. One of our brides' mother-in-law disappeared.
Oh, God.
And was found...
Wearing her wedding dress. No.
With no clothes on.
Oh, God.
Completely unconscious.
On the wedding day?
On the wedding day. And that was in grounds. They'd love beautiful grounds. And I want to say it was, what's that thing called? Maize.
Oh, my God.
And so she could have been out there all night, but luckily she has no idea how.
Oh, my God.
She was alone. And I am allowed to share. I am allowed to share this story because she told me I could do it. But yeah, she has no recollection of how she got there, and they couldn't find her clothes.
Oh my God!
But there was a lake there, so whether she threw them in the lake, I don't know. Whether they found them much later. So that was my. Gossip.
Oh, I have got some gossip. We've got some new venues coming up.
Oh, come on, then. Come on, then. That's a good gossip.
We've got a venue in Oxford.
Right.
The Oxford direction. It is beautiful. Really
Is this the one that you can talk to me about when we were on our Zoom?
Yes.
Because it hadn't been finalised.
So we're going live with it in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
So this I'll come back and talk to you about that.
No, because the show will be out by then.
That's true.
Because we filmed so far in advance.
That's true.
So tell us now.
Okay then. So it's Wormsley Estate in Oxford. It is stunning.
What's that famous for?
Cricket.
Cricket.
And the opera.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And Mark Getty from Getty Images.
That's it.
Yeah. So it's absolutely stunning.
So what is it?
So it's a private family home estate.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. Oh my God, talk about the approach, the drive in. Oh my goodness, there's deer.
So Brides Revisited.
It's stunning, absolutely stunning. And then there are three locations.
You want that, don't you? I mean, our wedding, you came down and there was a fountain and then you had the big house and we pretended it was our home. This is our manor, you know.
And that's what our venues feel like because it's very relaxed. It feels like it's yours for the day. It's like you're welcoming everyone to your home. It's not like, oh, we've got this for a few hours. Yeah. There's another one.
Don't touch that. Don't touch that.
There's another bride over there waiting to come in. Yeah. It's very relaxed. It's very much the couple space, which is very important. So Wormsley is beautiful. And it's what I love too with the approach of a venue is that it sets the world outside.
Yeah.
You come in and it's all about the wedding.
Yeah.
And that's a lovely thing when you you drive in, done a beautiful long drive, and then there are 3 locations on site. There's a beautiful barn which doesn't smell, as one location.
I'm thinking cowshed. Listen, I grew up on a farm, so I can't get that cowshed out of me.
No, I know. Well, if that's what you're remembering, I can understand why. But no, there's no cows, not in the barn anyway. There might be in a field yonder, but no, Wormsley has a beautiful barn, and then it also has a fabulous walled garden, which is absolutely incredible. The gardens are just amazing.
So do you get used to the gardens?
Yes.
While you're there?
So you can either use the barn, the gardens, or the cricket pavilion.
Why do these big houses give up their land to have these weddings?
I think majority of them just want to share the space.
Really?
Yeah.
Show how beautiful the gardens are.
And it's lovely for the couple, for the owners of the property, to see the couple coming in, enjoying the space, enjoying their day. It's such a joyous thing to be a part of.
You told me that wonderful story. I think that was your 7 guests of the owners.
Yeah. Yeah, I called the owners and I said, with the wedding for 7 guests, and I said, I don't feel right. I can't charge them a full venue hire because this is and they were only going to be with us from like 12 o'clock till 6. A
midweek.
Yeah, and it was like a Wednesday or Thursday. And the venue owner said, oh, just let them have it for this, and gave me a massively reduced rate because he just wanted them to have their day and enjoy it. And everyone I work with is just so lovely. And it's always about the couple, making it right for them. Behind the scenes on the wedding day, all the staff are just working tirelessly to make sure it's perfect for every guest. Everyone's looked after.
Yeah, I mean, the charges are fantastic, and because you're doing a wedding on a budget, it doesn't need to look like a budget.
No, absolutely. And you don't have to be, you can spend whatever you want, because your marquee could be
your blank canvas. You
blank canvas, exactly. So you could do a lot of it yourself if you wanted to, or you can bring in staff to do a lot of things. It's lovely that you've got the free reign to do whatever you want.
Who are not your couple?
People that don't want to get married.
Good answer.
Anyone that wants to get married.
I suppose anybody that wants the silver service.
But we can do that.
But you can do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We've had military weddings where it's very much more formal. All of the groom and his ushers were all in there. Get up, I forget the name of it.
I love that. Did they do the swords while the bride?
They did. Yeah, it was very cool. And he chopped the top off the champagne bottle with the sword.
Where was that film? And he took the it was Emily in Paris, and they were doing it for like a photo shoot, and on it was like, no, just do it again, and he took it off and cut his finger off.
Oh God, no, the groom was fine. He knew what he was doing. He was good with his sword. He could pour it, because sometimes it breaks the bottle, but he was able to pour it.
I could do a beekeeping wedding.
You could,
and all the beekeepers with their hive tools, couldn't they? Couldn't they?
Because firemen do it with their axes.
Wonder what you're going to say then.
They get their little axes. They're only about this long, and they hold them up.
Do they? Yeah. They must have long arms.
Yeah, you want because the bride having a haircut as she goes through. They do the guard of honour with just like a little axe, just a small one.
So anything goes.
Yeah, totally. And that's the lovely thing, because you can build a marquee that's much more structured, much more traditional.
Yeah.
Or you can go with something that's really relaxed.
Okay. Yeah, so anything really does go. I love that, because I think when I speak to my couples, that restriction that they're being told, they're going to their venues going, no, you can't have that. It's in page 400 and
or if you want to stand there, it's more money, and if you want to do this, it's more. And like with the corkage, it's just a nasty obstacle to put in front of people.
Yeah. Because it puts a bad taste in your mouth. It definitely does.
It definitely
does. Yeah.
I think it's also important to put the money into the budget, into the things that are important.
There's nothing worse than feeling ripped off, and I get it. If that's what they're charging, and they've been upfront about it, it is what it is, and that sort of thing. But that you don't have to do it.
No, you don't. And it's just lovely that whatever anyone wants is possible.
Could they have the venue for longer?
They can do.
I'm thinking about sort of the second day brunch.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, the difficulty really is that you'll have to obviously get caterers back in. Well, it's not difficulty, but you'd have to have caterers back in, which some couples don't want to do. They might want to go to a different location.
Because these second days are still as costly as...
They are. And that's where people don't really realise what's involved. But anything is possible.
Yeah, well, they see the Instagram weddings and hello weddings, and they're like, oh my God, they're a 3-day wedding, and it's just...
But a lot of them aren't real.
No, I know.
And I feel so sorry. I had a bride on the phone yesterday, and she was like, I'm just so overwhelmed. And I said, I feel so sorry for you that you're in the bridal phase where everything's on the internet, and a lot of it isn't true, because for girls that don't know... And for grooms too, there's so much out there. It's so confusing. Yeah,
it's why we do this. So couples that are getting married can, see what the real stuff is, and then cater it around to what they need and want and can afford. Yeah, because there is so much out there that it's like going to a toy shop, isn't it? Yeah, or a buffet. Want that. We got questions.
And keeping it succinct as well.
Yes, because actually you could be having all of these things and they don't match up on the day. Yeah, and I think that's where probably you come in.
Yeah, okay. No, totally.
We got questions from the public. Do you want to do some with me?
I'd love one. Yes, please. Do you want me to pick?
Yeah, rummage through.
Oh, you do it.
Okay.
Oh, what's that? Do you want me to read it? Or you do it?
Yeah, I could do it. I let my wife deep dip me at the wedding. Great show, Steve. Oh, she let him. She.
This needs some explaining.
She deep dipped him. You know what deep dip is?
No, I don't know.
It's where they they're dancing.
Oh, the dipping.
And then,
I wasn't sure what that was.
You were deep throating. You were. I know what you're thinking.
I did not know at all.
Yeah, so instead of her going down, he went. He I like that.
That is a nice idea.
It's alternatives, isn't it? People won't be expecting it, because sometimes these things get overdone, and you're seeing the same weddings again, and it's copy and paste, and it's not original. And guests are going from one wedding to another, going, "Oh yeah, I've always seen that."
No, totally.
You know, it's not exciting anymore, you know.
And that's a fun idea, because that way all the guests would be like, whoa, they wouldn't be expecting it at all.
Some of this is
that's a really long one.
Yeah, give me the long one. You go in for a short one.
Do you want me to pick one?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a good one.
Go on then, you go.
Wearing white to a wedding as a guest. No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have big problems with that. I think that's really wrong.
And it
says way too much about the person wearing the white.
Yeah. What does it say?
It says that person wants the attention on them.
Yeah.
That they want to be married.
They've done it intentionally.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
We all know what we're wearing.
Yeah.
Unless we haven't got a mirror and we're in the dark. I think it says too much about the person wearing it.
Yeah.
And it takes away... the sort of person that would do that would be the sort of person that's either already married and wants to still be getting married, but they're not getting married anymore.
Yeah.
Or it's the sort of person who's desperate to get married and hasn't yet got married.
Yeah. They didn't have the day that they wanted, but that couple is.
Yeah. Or a friend who isn't that genuine.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Well, we see it, you know, your time in Bridal, you would have seen it, and we see it in the boutique. We've just had such a lovely run of fantastic guests that have been there for the bride. They're excited to be there, to be with her when she buys her dress, not to say, I don't like that one.
There's nothing... When I used to work with Caroline Castellano at her Guildford boutique, it was always so upsetting when a bride would say, and we always have a chat with her at the beginning to discuss what she wanted and everything, and discuss the image. And if she said, I love lace, I definitely want lace, I really love lace, and then she'll come out in a lace dress, and you can see she's happy, you can see she loves it. You're in the fitting room with her.
Read the face,
she's loving it, and the one bridemaid will go, I don't like lace. And you're like, well,
doesn't matter.
She's already said it. Your opinion isn't about that.
What the bride hears is, you don't look good in that.
Yeah, yeah. It's so sad. And it's really selfish because they're not listening to their friend.
Yeah.
You know, a true friend will say, well,
what do you think?
Lace isn't for me, but I love lace for you, because that's what you obviously look happy.
Yeah, I had I don't think she was a bridesmaid, but it was a friend's... it was a work colleague. Mm-hmm. She's South African, so all her best friends are over in South Africa, and she her best friend, and you know, she sat there and went, I can't believe I'm here. This is so exciting, you know. And she just felt so privileged to be there when she was coming out, and she just said, oh my God, you look great and everything. And the bride's like, you're not helpful. She said, I'm not here to give you my opinion, I'm here to be here when you find your dress. And that was just it.
That's so
lovely. It was lovely.
But you have to be very careful about who you bring.
Oh, you know,
Even mothers aren't always the best person to bring.
No, because there's already, you know, my mum and I, you know, she only has to look, and it would get off my back, you know, and you know, and some people can have such a lovely relationship, with their mums.
Yeah, sometimes it's perfect. Other times it's not. We used to have quite a lot of girls come on their own.
Yes. Yeah, more and more girls now are coming on their own, particularly if they're coming to do the recce. Yeah. And then they'll narrow it down to 2 or 3, and then they'll bring friends back, and they've probably already processed that and then decided actually this dress.
Or booking their dress and then coming back for accessories with friends.
Yes.
That's always fun, because then the pressure's off.
Yeah.
They can have some bubbles. They can just enjoy dressing the dress.
Listen,
rather than choosing it.
We got 300 dresses in our boutique. It's like kiddie in a sweet shop, and you got girls running around going, "Oh, I like this, I don't like this." The worst is when the bride's coming out in a dress that she said yes to in the changing room, and you've got somebody off their seat going, "Try this, try this, try this."
Do you let them try something on that they've picked?
Yeah, we do at the beginning.
Yeah,
you know, it depends on, you know, if we find that the girl is a bit anxious, we could probably read it. Our girls are trained. Our sites are trained to say, right, actually, should we just pick for you? Yes, because it's a bit overwhelming. But if there's, you know, 2 or 3 of them, we'll go, right, all pick one each. Pick what you like.
Yeah, good idea.
And actually, that gives us quite a good choice.
Yeah.
In there.
And you also see what the friend would want to see the friend in.
Yes. And
then they realise that, she doesn't actually...
It curves it straight away, because it's like, actually, no, you know, I like that, but it doesn't suit you. You don't like it. So that is a good thing to do, definitely. Right, what have I got in here? Right, bride screaming at everybody all night. An example, we start playing the first dance, and I guess they messed up their routine. She starts screaming like a toddler and stamping her feet, yelling, no, 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 start it all over again, it was all wrong. And she does this 3 more times. She acts like this all night, and eventually gets into a screaming match with the mother-in-law. Groom family leaves. This is pressure I bet actually
and it's unrealistic.
I bet she was. I bet she is a sound girl. I reckon she's quite quiet, quite sensible.
But the pressure's been building.
The pressure building.
She's been to other people's weddings.
Yeah, and I think probably
has been right, and she wants hers to be right.
I don't think she's had the support venue wise and supplier wise. So she's felt that she's had to do it all, and she's erupted.
She needed me.
Yeah, she.
I would have known if you wanted to walk in at that bit of the song, because quite often when we're doing the music for a ceremony, if we don't have live music, we'll have a PA system that one of my staff will orchestrate. And if the bride says, right, well, I want to play this song, but I want to walk in at 23 seconds in or 1 minute 20 in, because quite often there's a bit of a song that's actually more poignant. It's not necessarily the beginning bit, it might be the end, it might be the middle. So we'll orchestrate it so that she walks in at that point. So if I'd known that, I would have, depending on obviously the details, but I would have known that actually she wants this song to play before this song, and I would have made sure the DJ knows or the band knows, and it's all queued up. And
my exit song was Signed, Sealed and Delivered.
Oh, I love that.
But the words didn't kick in until we were gone.
Oh no.
So they heard it all, but we didn't hear it, and we didn't think about it because we were like, let's go get a drink.
We've had that as a walking in song. Yeah. We've had the DJ make sure it's on the exact right bit.
Yeah. So that's.
But I'm the neurotic one who goes up and like listens on the headphones and makes sure before the bride and groom walk in.
This is what she needed.
Yeah.
You know.
I think also it's sad that she wasn't feeling fully supported.
Yeah. And that's somebody's memory of that wedding. That's one of your guests.
Yeah.
And seeing a distressed bride.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a bride kicking off.
No.
That's a distressed bride. Yeah. That nothing's gone right.
And the pressure is too much. And there again, I think as well, with the internet being crazy about like all these things that they say happen at weddings that aren't entirely true, like with fireworks going off at the exact moment that people kiss. And, you know, a lot of it isn't really. It's all what's it called? AI. And then of course a lot of brides see that and go, I want that music to play. I want the sparklers to go off at the exact moment, and it's not real.
It isn't real. It isn't real. I am really surprised that we haven't been told off yet, because we've actually gone way over time.
Have we? Have we got time for one more?
Go on then, one more.
One more. Because they're fun. I like
I've so enjoyed having you here.
Oh, you're lovely.
Because actually also you're bridal as well. So, and you understand. And I think anybody, book her, please, book her. And anybody coming to you, you know all aspects of it, you know, and you will take their shoulders.
I always see the day from the logistical side of absolutely everyone being there, how it orchestrates, how the whole day runs as a whole to be absolutely smooth.
You're the mummy of the wedding.
I am, this is true.
Yeah. Go on and give us a little one.
The bride actually once told me, we were at a wedding at Myrtle's Courtyard, and the bride had a few drinks, and she'd taken her shoes off and left them by the top table. And I was just sort of looking out, and I could see her on the dance floor, and she was bit drunk, but she was going, oh, where are my shoes gone? Where are my shoes gone? And I could see her.
Women of a certain age lose things. It's starting to happen to me now.
So I saw my shoes, so I just went and picked them up. And I just went straight over to her and I said, here are your shoes, love. And I bent down to put them on. And she looked down and she went, you're like the wedding angel.
Oh, I love that.
Very sweet. This one says, make sure father of the bride stand on dress when walking. Make sure father of the bride doesn't stand on dress, or stand on dress?
Doesn't stand on dress.
Doesn't stand on dress while walking up the aisle.
Yeah.
Well, that's
top
really, tips. You kick when you walk.
Yes.
And you get.
I knew you would know it.
Of course. And you get your hem correct.
Yes. Oh.
And you wear the correct shoes. You don't change your shoes like the day before or a few weeks before. Have the same shoes. Yeah. Wear them in.
You can change your shoes after you're married. It doesn't matter then. You can.
And also, if your dad stands in your dress, don't tell him off.
No.
Because you'll get a picture of you going, Dad, you're so annoying. Just go with it.
There's nothing worse. You've spent so much time, so much effort, so much money, and your entrance, you're walking and you're kicking your dress out from your feet. Yeah. Yeah, it's awful, absolutely awful. My top tip was from a Toastmaster who said, slide your foot. So we step, when we come close, we're stepping.
Oh, and then you slide.
And then you're stepping on her dress. So obviously the dress moves. So you're if she's not completely straight, she might have a bit of a dip in her skirt, so he can get some material. So, but if he just slid his foot in, so when he goes to stand next to her, his foot's underneath the dress.
Yeah, and then they can stand close.
You know.
That's lovely.
Where can we find you? Into this camera here.
At Blank Canvas Weddings. Do you want me to say the full?
Yeah, everything.
Yes, at blankcanvasweddingvenues.co.uk.
Holly.
What else do I need to say?
That's exactly what you've just said there. So we are going to set up our own PI company.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, you're
many things.
You're going to be the glamorous one, and I'm going to be Vera. You know, and but definitely follow this lady. Go book your wedding with this lady.
Yes,
she will have your back every step of the way. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. We have hit our first 100k episode. I know. We were really excited. It suddenly went up and we're like, what the hell? It's like this madness. And that's down to you guys. You're supporting our industry, supporting our couples. Keep your questions coming in because we love every single one of them. We're going to have to do a full episode. You're going to come back and co-host when Dawn's on maternity.
I'd love to. Yes.
So you can definitely do that. And we'll see you all next week. Bye.